And 25 years is not very easy to survive in an industry which is, known to be very cutthroat, very competitive, very complex
Yeah.
in its own way. We often keep hearing about how this industry is very ruthless. But at the same time, making choices also. What I want to understand, what was that one of the most challenging choices you've had to make in this journey, which changed the game for you also after
I
a
think the
point?
challenging choices. Firstly, it was after my first film did really well, a few films didn't work. So then Khakee came, but it was a multi-starrer.
Hmm.
So I was very gung-ho about doing it because it's such a big film. But it being a multi-starrer, there was a little bit of a challenge. Ki, should I, break out of playing the solo romantic hero and now do something like this?
Yes.
But I had to be a part of that film, so I said it, yes, and that worked for me. Thereafter, Golmaal, the silent character,
Gopal.
Lucky.
Yes, sorry.
Initially, it was a silent character, so I said, sign language में कैसे entertain करूँगा मैं? Comedy कैसे होगी?
Hanji.
But I took that challenge on, and then we designed the character. Eventually, it got enacted in a manner which was very different from what you'd see a mute character play on screen before. How you'd see a mute character play on screen before, it was very different from that.
Right.
So that worked. Again, that was a challenge that worked off, that paid off. And then, of course, Shootout playing a negative role for the first time. I was like, I am not like this person at all. Will I be able to bring that character?
Right. And I by then I don't think so. People had also seen you in that light of having this.
So I guess I did have that. There was an angst. There was something ruthless within me, which I kind of had to tap into, that aggression, to bring that bua out, on screen. And that is a challenge which was again very, very stressful, but it worked for me. Yeah. I used to crib कि ये कर पाऊंगा कि नहीं, and I used to tell my family that यार, why am I doing this film? Why am I playing with my career? Why am I playing ऐसा लगा कि मैं जुआ खेल रहा हूँ अपने करियर के साथ, अलग अलग ऐसे कैरेक्टर्स कर रहा हूँ, हर बार एक चैलेंज निकल के आता है, क्यों मैं स्ट्रेस ले रहा हूँ? Let's just keep doing what's working for me, And then today I realize that those challenges are what people remember, those roles are what people remember. So because it was a challenge, it turned into a good opportunity and it worked for me.
But when you sounded out these concerns with family, what would they usually tell you? What would their feedback be on, these concerns?
They would. I'd like to believe they were not too supportive.
Okay.
They were not. They don't pamper me too much.
Okay.
They were like, "Why do you think like that? Everybody dies to be in your position." I'm like, but even if you're in an enviable position, you can be stressed and challenged about certain things. But I don't agree with my family in that regard. Not my sister or anybody, but my if I would talk to my parents about it, they'd be like, लोग मरते हैं ये करने के लिए, तेरे को मिल रहा है ऐसे काम, क्यों नहीं कर रहा है तू, क्यों इतना सिलेक्टिव हो जाता है, क्यों इतना सोचता है. So ठीक है, I mean सबकी अपनी अपनी राय है. Some people are too cool. I wasn't too cool about it. Yeah.
And Golmaal was the craze that the character got. And if I'm not wrong, I was reading in one of the interviews that initially there were no dialogues that the character had, and that and adding that sound was your improv, is what I was reading somewhere. Is that true?
Not my improv. There was a coach from theatre, Vikas Kadam. He's a well-known actor in Marathi theatre, and he was brought into the project to train me. And he and I together with Rohit, we worked out this character that he'll have a little more animated body language. He'll have expressions that are louder than normal because he's wanting to convey something without the regular words, So he'll have to be a little more expressive, and he doesn't have the ability to speak eloquently, but he can make sounds,
right?
Because he can hear. So he'll be louder than anybody else. He's saying a lot more than anybody else, even though he's not articulate about it because of his different abilities. So we made this character a little more harami than one would expect a gunga to be. Rather than go into that sympathetic zone for this character, we wanted to make him like equal to everyone else, which is why I think we improved it and we gave it a little bit of a twist compared to the mute characters you see in films regularly.
But over these years, with the franchise also evolving and now the 5th part coming very soon, how much has Lucky also evolved? What are we going
Every
to see
time
new?
I do a Golmaal, there is something new, something that urges me to go that extra mile. Second part mein, there was a lot more that I had to perform compared to the first part, because it was accepted as a character. Third part with that emotional scene, which was very out of the box, like Gunge ka ek emotional scene, बहुत ही intense emotional scene. And then in the fourth part, he gets possessed. So how will he become Nana Patekar? So every time Rohit is giving me this challenge. Fifth part में क्या है मैं बताऊंगा नहीं. But obviously the fear is there. It's been 10 years almost, and the expectations are there. So whether the director requires me to or not, I have to up the ante. He's obviously checking on my sur at every point, seeing that it's like how it has been in the previous films, but I have to still give that little extra so that people who expect a lot are not feeling like okay cheated, okay पहले में इतना था लेकिन अभी सेम लग रहा है, तो वो कुछ अलग, कुछ ज़्यादा, कुछ थोड़ा कम, थोड़ा मतलब एक हटके कुछ करना ही पड़ता है. And that is I have to rely on my instincts when I'm doing each scene here.
But what was it like coming back after 10 years? Was it all like it's all started where it was, where you all left it, or how was that?
Yeah,
like?
we just, when we come together, there's some magic, and Rohit shows us the previous film के scenes to let us know कि ये energy level थी चारों बार, अभी ये चाहिए वापस. So he brings us into that zone again, and then we just flow. I don't know what it is. There's some magic with this franchise. Touch wood.
And Akshay Kumar is also now added to
he's
it.
There, yes, of course. He's also there. I won't reveal much about that character. It's a very special character.
Right.
But we've shot the first schedule for over a period of 80 days with gaps also. But it was a schedule, that running schedule for a period of 80 days. And it just flew by. I don't know what it is with Golmaal. शुरू होते ही खत्म हो जाती है. I think it's just the camaraderie, the chemistry.
Of course.
And director actor equation that has grown over the years. Now we're like family. तो ये family जब साथ आती है तो सब अपने character में घुस जाते हैं अपने आप. I think that's our alter ego. ये जो हमारा